Hey guys, what's going on? Dr. Frank here, founder of Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching Programs. And in today's brief video, I want to take some time discussing pornography withdrawal symptoms. And I want to paint a timeline for you guys so you know what to expect when it comes to quitting pornography and what you can anticipate as you start that recovery process from a pornography addiction. Here at Addiction Mindset Recovery Coaching, we help people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, pornography, and a whole host of other addictions. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications, because I'm going to be putting out a video tomorrow on how you can navigate or mitigate some of these withdrawal symptoms when it comes to pornography. So be sure to turn on your notifications for these videos. All right, guys, so let's start by talking about some of the basics of this pornography withdrawal symptom timeline. So like any other drug addiction, like any other substance use disorder addiction, you can expect the first 3 to 5 days to be the most challenging. Just like I say when it comes to nicotine withdrawal, the same thing is going to apply for pornography withdrawal. And this could really be any addiction. Get through the first 72. You have to do your best to get through the first 3 days. Now, after you conquer the first 3 to 5 days, your next landmark goal is going to be 1 month, 30 days. After you hit a month free from pornography, your next landmark goal is going to be 90 days. And then following the 90-day mark, I want you to shoot for an entire year. Now, I know that sounds very daunting, and I'm going to explain why a year is so important when it comes to recovery from pornography, but that could also apply to nicotine and THC and other substances as well, too. So our goal is going to be 3 to 5 days, then we're going to aim for 30 days or a month, then we're going to aim for 3 months or 90 days, and then we're going to aim to reach all the way up to a year of sobriety without pornography. Now, what type of physical withdrawal symptoms can you expect, or even emotional or mental withdrawal symptoms can you expect when it comes to withdrawal from a pornography addiction? Well, right off the bat, usually in those first 3 to 5 days, people usually notice insomnia. The insomnia is a completely normal symptom of withdrawal when it comes to pornography addiction. And my best advice for managing the insomnia is not to make a big deal of it. Similar to when people go through nicotine withdrawal or THC withdrawal, they often contact our offices frantic that they're experiencing insomnia. Don't make a big deal of it. I promise eventually your body is going to relax and you're going to crash and fall asleep. Also, within those first 3 to 5 days of pornography withdrawal, you're probably going to experience some mood changes, some depression, some anxiety, an easier state of agitation or aggression, and a decrease in patience. And this is pretty standard for any substance use addiction. It probably sounds pretty similar to smoking or nicotine withdrawal or withdrawal that you would go through if you're trying to quit vaping. The reason why you start to experience some of these mood changes when you're going through pornography withdrawal is because of the changes that are occurring in your brain to dopamine. So porn, just like other drugs or substances, releases a large rush of dopamine in our brain. That's that neurotransmitter that makes us feel good and reinforces a behavior over and over again. So when you watch pornography, you build up a tolerance just like you would to other drugs. You require more hardcore content to get your rocks off. And then you develop a craving. So here you are, you have this increased tolerance just like we see in drugs, and you get cravings. You get a craving to watch porn. Maybe it's on your break at work. Maybe it's when you go home at the end of the day. Maybe it's first thing in the morning. These cravings often lead to agitation and decreased states of patience when people are suffering from cravings from withdrawal symptoms. Now, something I want you to keep in mind, just in case you do start to experience some anxiety, depression, or cravings in the first few days of quitting watching pornography. You are already experiencing withdrawals on a day-to-day basis. Think about this. Here you are going through your day at school, at work, whatever it may be, and you're focused on getting home to go watch porn. You're focused on that break to go watch porn. That's a craving. and it's a withdrawal symptom. And you're going to continue to experience those symptoms on a day-to-day basis up until you break this addiction. So a lot of people say, well, Dr. Frank, I can't possibly risk having anxiety. I can't possibly risk being depressed. Chances are you're already experiencing those things. The only difference is you're very quickly going to watch porn to quiet down those thoughts and satisfy those feelings. When in reality, you're actually just trapping yourself into this cycle of addiction over and over and over again. It's one of the lies, it's one of the tricks that addiction plays on our brain. Now, in that first month to 3 months, a lot of people will report brain fog, just this feeling of kind of disassociation. They're just kind of cloudy all the time. Brain fog, unfocused, what's going on? Well, yes, this has to do with the changes in dopamine. Remember, your brain was getting this constant rush of dopamine from stimulation from pornography. You've now taken that away. So now your brain has to rewire how it's going to get dopamine. It has to change its circuitry. It has to change how it processes and how it functions. And during that healing process, you're often going to experience things like brain fog. And the brain fog, rightfully so, can drive people a little bit crazy at times. Simple things though, like talk therapy, making sure you get a good night's sleep, and exercising, especially first thing in the morning, can go a really, really, really long way when it comes to preventing brain fog when you're experiencing pornography withdrawal symptoms. Now, I did mention exercise, but I want to say something as a disclaimer. A lot of people during those first few months, first few weeks of pornography withdrawal experience muscle pain. They experience very physical withdrawal symptoms, sweating, chills, maybe even a slight fever, believe it or not. I've read accounts of that. Flu-like symptoms, okay? Muscle pain, joint pain, teeth pain, jaw pain. And this is very expected when you're going through withdrawal from pornography because of the changes that are occurring in your hormones and your dopamine and serotonin levels, and the changes that are occurring in your fight or flight response, that adrenaline release that you get when you do watch pornography or adult content. All of those things are starting to rebalance, and when you go through that resetting process, the great reset that occurs during those first 90 days of breaking a pornography addiction, it's not unusual that you're going to have days where you might feel extra crappy, and that's okay. That's not something to be afraid of or get discouraged about, because what's better, feeling crappy on and off for a few months, or having to suffer from a pornography addiction for the rest of your life? A lot of people watching my channel are probably somewhere between the ages of 16 and 30. I want you to think of this. If you're suffering from a pornography addiction now, and I tell you, if you work really hard over the next year to recover from this horrible addiction, you do things to better yourself, to build yourself up, to build a better life for yourself, what sounds worse? Doing that, or struggling with a porn addiction for the rest of your life to avoid temporary momentary points of discomfort or points of agony due to porn addiction withdrawal? I think the answer becomes really obvious. Building a better life for yourself and facing some of these minor withdrawal symptoms with a good support network, with good techniques that I'm going to talk about in another video that I release tomorrow, I think is a much better option than suffering from a pornography addiction for the rest of your life. So it's really important that you guys don't let these time frames or these withdrawal symptoms scare you, because a lot of people get scared, and that often leads to relapse, or it leads to that addictive voice taking over your brain and convincing you that quitting just isn't worth your time. And the biggest thing I want to say when it comes to pornography withdrawal, I think the mindset that you go into it with is crucial. So just like smoking, just like drinking, just like substance use disorders, If you view quitting porn as giving something up, you're going to have a much more challenging time, at least with the mental and psychological addiction components of pornography. It's going to be much more challenging. But if you can reframe your mindset and you can say to yourself, I'm going to take the next 3 days, the next 3 months, the next year, and I'm going to do everything I can to better myself, and I'm going to create the most amazing year of my life for myself, I think quitting becomes a much easier process. Not to say it's easy, but I think it becomes a much more comfortable process. So be sure to approach these withdrawals with an initial change in mindset. And that change in mindset should be one that's very positive, not something very negative. Because remember, you're not giving anything up except for a horrible addiction. So to recap, if you're quitting pornography, common pornography withdrawal symptoms can include, let's go through it, insomnia, anxiety, headaches, fatigue and weakness, depression, agitation, brain fog, mood swings, flu-like symptoms, initially decreased libido, and a desire to avoid socialization. I want to talk about that one for just a brief moment. Pornography addiction, it isolates us, and it ruins our ability to socialize with other people because we stop viewing people as persons. We start to look at people as objects, and this is extremely damaging, especially for those of you guys who are watching this video who want to go on and have like a really good career. It's probably going to take some level of socialization skill. So I really think you guys should take some time and think about how porn is jeopardizing your ability to socialize with your peers and other people. Because not being able to socialize, you might realize, or if you're putting that at risk, might really be jeopardizing some of your future goals and some of the things that you want to accomplish later on in life. And that might not be a side effect that you're experiencing right now, but is it worth the risk of experiencing that later on in life? I don't know. That's for you to make that call. I hope you guys follow me into the next video where I talk about why I quit energy drinks, nicotine, THC, and watching pornography. Check out the next video, ask questions in the comments, and I'll see you guys soon.